Other cases of heroic suicide, you have Liliana's Papos story. Should be case Torianos Laharagat Lilianos Papos Beludica. So Rashi says over here that the story is that the daughter of the king was found dead, and the Jews would have all been destroyed. But these two heroes, Lilianos and Papos, took responsibility even though they didn't do it, and that's basically, suicide, but heroic suicide to save the whole the Jewish people at the time. Ula and Bnei Huzai, the story there is that Ula was walking and he had two people from Bnei Huzai coming with him, and one just got up and killed the other guy. And Ula said, and they asked, and the other guy who killed the man said, "Hey, did I do a good job?" So Ula was scared, and he said, "You should finish off the throat." So the Ron says Shayamus Meyer that he did a mercy killing, that he, made it faster. The Meiri states that Chas v'Shalom, that he would do such a thing, but he already died, and he just said that to protect himself. The Tzitz Eliezer actually uses this scenario to show that he quotes the Tiferes Yisrael that that when you have Chaye Shah and Chaye Olam next to each other, you can even do an action to protect somebody's Chaye Olam. So he's basically saying that that's a proof that Chaye Shah situation could be pushed off for a Chaye Olam, but that he really did finish off the man who was already dying anyway. He was basically a ghostis, but it was in order to save his life. Another case of, we're almost done with these cases, mercy killing, suicide, is the famous story of Luz, number 7, that it's a special place where they made tcheles and nobody died there. The Malach HaMavis wasn't allowed in. And if somebody wanted to die, they would have to go out of the city. It says here, as the Kenim Sheba Bizman Shada'atan Katsa Lehen Yotzin Chutz Lechoma Vehin Mesim. By going out of the city, they would de facto pass away. Moshe Dov Vilner of Chemdat Tzvi writes, what's the point there? Hevizeh Kemesir Hamonea Asitzias HaNeshama. Basically removing that which was protecting them is okay. In other words, why is it that they were able to leave the city that's committing suicide, but they were able to do it because they're taking away this special privilege that was protecting them. They weren't actively killing themselves, and that's why it's okay. The similar Gemaras by David HaMelech and by Rav Chisda that talk about how they had protection by learning, and if you stop their learning, that's the only way they were able to get killed. A similar Gemara here, Medrash actually, in Yalkut Shimoni, Akev talks about this lady who was old and she wanted to die, and she asked her rabbi, "How can I go?" And he said, "What do you like doing?" "I like going to shul, so stop going for 3 days." She did. On the 3rd day, she died. Her skula of keeping her alive was the continuity of going to shul every day, and by removing it, she passed away. We're almost done with these cases, but they're all supposed to give us an understanding of how to approach this concept of suicide and mercy killing. A famous Gemara by the Rebbe's death. So Rebbe was dying and he was suffering. Every time he put on tefillin, he would be in pain, but initially his handmaid, who was very knowledgeable, his handmaid said, Yehi ratzon sheyechofu tachtonim et ha'elyonim, which means it should be God's will that the people on the bottom who are praying for his continuity should override the people up top, meaning Hashem and Shamayim, that are trying to get him. But then when they saw how painful when she saw how painful his existence was, she said, "You know what? The people above should override the people below and take him away." So she prayed for him to. That's also another case of Mesir Hamonea, removing that um, which was protecting the prayers of the people on the in the world were protecting. So what she did is she went to the roof and she threw down a piece of pottery. It shattered and they stopped davening and then he passed away. So in order to you could potentially kill someone, so to speak, by removing that which is protecting them. We have a few more examples on page 7, almost done with these amazing stories, and that was page 6, I believe. No, that was page 7.